You want to talk about any beefs or anything, man? You want to put that out there a little bit?
The beef thing, right? The beef thing is it ain't what it should be. You know what I'm saying? It should be really like you should really want to hear.
Right.
Like I'm not anxious to hear the Jim Jones diss ready. Like I'm like, yo, the niggas that used to have a nigga a little nervous was like B.I.G., Pac,
right?
Even Cannabis, like Eminem. Them niggas used to have you like, if we go at it, dog, we gotta go hard. You know what I'm saying? But these niggas like a Jim Jones, like I respect you getting your money. You like exactly right.
But MC-wise, you're not respecting his lyrical game right now.
I respect his hustle.
Right.
I respect his hustle. That's about it. And as far I was thinking about an album called what's this shit called? I was gonna do the nigga album next.
The nigga album?
Yeah, that was this nigga. And
yeah, you should call it the Kramer album.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yo, that was originally the name. That's why I called it the N. It was really supposed to be called the N word. So I just kept the N in there for now. So I was like, fuck it. I feel you. It ain't nothing. You know what? Niggas gotta remind me about this shit because I don't really know. I can't keep up with how many dudes is saying what. It's like I seen them here. It was me and you. There were about 20 of them. And I didn't know it was him. We just walked by into the hotel and Mike started laughing. I said, why? He said, seen your man put his head down? I said, who? He said, Jim Jones. I said, no. So he's like, yeah. I said, oh, whatever. So it's just me and him, you know, no security, nothing, just. So, and on a DVD a few months later, I heard that he said, he saw me and said, Nasir Jones, what up? And he said, I had a bunch of bodyguards and I had my head down. I said, why even acknowledge that you saw me? It don't even fucking make no damn sense, nigga. Like, if you put your head down or you didn't see me, why even say it on a DVD, nigga? So we dealing with a lot of, you know, I don't want to disrespect them because they getting their money and it brings me lower when I talk about them motherfuckers, you know? That's cool. But I do sense something happening. I feel like niggas is trying to start something up.
I think personally, all you need to do is just ether one more MC, and I don't think no MCs will step to you after that anymore, period.
But it got, yo, honestly, I can't, like, if it was like Jim Jones, imagine putting a pen to paper to write about him. Even something nice about him. How did you do that? What's the first sentence? What the fuck do you write about him? You know what I'm saying? That's real. If he's here, he know. He said he was surprised that Jay-Z answered him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He knows what it is hustling.
So how's the marriage, brother? Everything's good?
Everything's beautiful.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Y'all give it up for his wife, Khalees.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? You got a song on there, on your album also with her too. Talk about that, you know, like, you know, whose idea was it? And
it's called Not Going Back, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like the hood is in me, but I don't be in the hood, you know what I'm saying? Jungle be in the hood. If I want to know what's up with the hood, what up, son? Oh, word? Oh, that nigga's crazy. And I'm like, yo, nigga, you hang around that nigga still, nigga? All right.
I noticed on the album there was no Primo joints at all.
Yeah. Premier gave me like 2 records. We started the album with Premier. Premier has his entourage, I have my entourage, so everybody's in there excited.
Right.
And I'm like, damn, I wound up hanging out talking with them instead of making records.
Right.
So we could never put that together. So I was like, yo, let's go away. Let's go somewhere away. And we just could never fit the schedules up to go away where niggas can't bomb us.
Okay. When you done with this rap shit, man, when you finally done, what do you think that you're going to be doing? Besides chilling with the wifey and everything, but what do you think you're going to be doing? You're going to be running a label? You're going to be looking for more acts? You still going to be in this industry? What are you going to be doing? What do you think?
I'm not even in the industry now, dog. I just fake this shit. Like, I tell you.
I feel you.
I go up there and tell the label what, boom, I'm doing this. Y'all niggas ain't gonna see me. Y'all know. Niggas surprised I'm motherfucking, like, did this shit. Like, it's like that. Like, I don't fuck with this industry at all. I be meeting niggas. They be like, what up, people? Yo, I love your shit. Then they come out with an album. The shit go platinum. Now the niggas is looking at me like, who the fuck is you? It's like so much of that going on.
Yeah.
That niggas deal with that shit. I just be like, wow.
First of all, I want to say that I love you and I really respect what you've done for the game, first of all.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the baby and the wedding.
Thank you.
Third of all, what's in your CD player? What's something far off the wall that your audience would never think you listen to?
And I honestly don't laugh, y'all. Jazz. Fucking jazz. Coltrane, Miles Davis, Kinda Blue, and the Love Supreme Coltrane album all the time.
Master plan.
What video would you say of yours is your favorite one?
Probably Street Dreams.
Why is that?
Cause nigga, I put on that pink shit first, nigga. Hey yo, I don't get no credit, yo. I be starting so much shit, yo. Now I be like, look, that nigga biting, nigga. I swear to God, yo, they don't give me no credit for that shit, nigga. But I be just, it's all good. Where's AZ? Y'all like AZ? I'm gonna let him know. Really? I'm gonna let that nigga know, cause that nigga don't go nowhere, man. I gotta find him, he got a new number every time, yo. And then I see him in the magazine like, yo, what up, Nas? Why this nigga don't be coming out, man? Come check that nigga, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey, man, I got 5 wrong numbers on you, nigga. So when I'm trying to get him, I got a concert in New York when I get back, so I'm trying to find him for that shit. We'll be back out here soon with a crazy concert. Say this, y'all know this one? Hell yeah! Some of y'all do it. Living shit, serious. All right. If y'all find DMX, let me know. That nigga crazy. He wanted it. But you know what? That's one of the truest niggas I've ever met in this rap shit. You see him, you get what you get. He's not fronting, he's not lying. He's the truth 100%. So actually I did speak to his wife. His wife knows my wife, so we keep the connection and we keep developing the story. It's about 2 studios that want the movie. So as soon as we develop the whole story, we're trying to get it out late 07, just for the hood. It's like, you gotta see, like, you never heard me on records mentioning his name, even when we was cool. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I never had any problem with the dude. The dude, I can't respond to him because he talks about everybody. So it's like everybody can't respond at the same, it's like, it don't make sense. It's like, if you talk about me, Jadakiss, Fat Joe, then Oprah Winfrey. I'd rather hear Oprah Winfrey respond, they can tell you.
Come on! If hip-hop should die before I wake, I put an extended clip inside of my ear, roll at every station, murder the DJ.
What's good, y'all? Back at you with another one. It's the OG Mike podcast. Want to kind of like, put my little input on the Jim Jones versus Nas comparison. You know what I'm saying? And first off, I'd like to say that I believe that Jim Jones and the YN that was speaking in one of those podcasts. I forgot the name of the podcast, but the podcast with D-Rec and Rain and MJ. And I forgot the other guy's name. He's a battle rapper, but he's listen, that stuff the YN be kicking, is he putting the battery in Jim Jones' back. Stuff that he's saying doesn't make any sense. Of course, I'm pretty sure, like most of us agree that Nas is tiers above Jim Jones. Nas has already been goated. Nas is pretty much in everybody's either top 5 and probably for sure top 3 when you boil down to it. When you make that top 3 cut, that's a different type of cut. But the top 5, for sure, I could respect somebody just saying, Nas is like my 4th or 5th person or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. But for me, Nas got to be either 1 or 2. You know what I'm saying? That's how elite he is. And again, I'm from the South, so you know what I'm saying? That speaks volumes and stuff like that. You reaching out to me, but the stuff that Nas has been spitting since he was, like 16, 17, 18 years old, it's just phenomenal, and he talks the talks and the discussions and the conversations that I like, you know what I'm saying, when he's talking about, you know, empowerment, especially from a black standpoint. And then he's talking about, you know what I'm saying, basically like Black Girl Lost. He'll talk about that. And there's a lot of, you know, black women that will, especially especially in the year 2025, you got a lot of women that's out there. You know, those are the, you know, the quote unquote 304s and stuff like that. You know what that means. So, you know what I'm saying, there's a lot of them that that kind of like fulfill what Nas was talking about in Black Girl Lost. They're looking for the guys that's, you know, popping champagne, the guys that got the money, the flash, and that's why the game is kind of upside down. You got a lot of women asking men for money up front, even if it's just $40, which is insane, you know what I'm saying? And we living in times where there's economic depression, you know what I'm saying? Housing market, you know, soon to be stock market probably gonna crash. It's a lot of stuff going on, man. Gas prices been jumping up and down in different states and cities. So, you know, come on, bro. You know, that's the stuff Nas was talking about on Black Girl Lost, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like, you know, this simple stuff like that that I gravitated towards, you know, back in the day. Nas has many a record. Now, when you're talking to just hit records, I get it, you know what I'm saying? And Jim Jones wants his limelight, but you know, Jim wasn't really like well known really until 2007. You know, people like me, I knew Jim Jones since 2000. Actually, whenever the, you know, Diplomats dropped that Diplomatic Immunity record. So that was like 2002, 2003 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And Jim wasn't really getting shine like that during the whole Dipset thing, right? So, listen, it was all Cam and Jewels at that period. If anybody remembers the Dipset, you know, G-Unit, Rough Rider era, Rockefeller era, you know what I'm saying? Jim wasn't getting no shine like that, bro. I mean, he was there and he's had some verses on that whole record, but you know, come on, bro. At that point, particular time, people were checking for Cam and Jewels. Now, me personally, despite all that, I still was, you know, I was like, all right, you know what I'm saying, you're doing this thing on the record and stuff like that. Now, Jim started to shine a little bit more when he got to, you know, his own particular record, which was On My Way to Church. And with that being said, you know, I believe that Jim, you know, that was his particular time to be like, you know, this is my solo effort from the whole Diplomats, the whole Dipset movement. You know what I'm saying? So when I started to see that, I was like, okay, you know, you got Certified Gangsters, you got Crunk Music, you know, he even had a diss record going towards Mace on that particular album and stuff like that. And, you know, and I was just like, okay, you know, Jim doing this thing. You know what I'm saying? It's no shorts, no losses. He coming at, you know, everybody and, you know, he's doing this thing. And at that particular time, you know, Jim Jones was like one of them crash outs, because this is like around the DVD era time frame. So you had a lot of those guys that were out there just beefing with each other out of nowhere. And this all kind of like, to be honest with you, all that stuff kind of stemmed from like 50, you know, 50 blew up, you know, other guys, they just started crashing out as in a domino effect. You know, you just started seeing beef everywhere. It's kind of crazy, but it's another topic. But Jim, getting back to his hits and stuff like that, he, like I said, Certified Gangster, Crunk Music. Then he started to release his sophomore album, and he had like what's that? The Diary of a Summer, you know, entitled, you know, Harlem. But it was a pretty good record. That's like my second favorite record from Jim. His first one is kind of like, you know, my third favorite, but the one which really took him over the top, which was the POME, Product of My Environment. which I think is also entitled Harlem, if I'm not mistaken. But that was the record that really put Jim on the map. You know what I'm saying? And Jim really did his thing on that one. You know what I'm saying? Because sonically it sounds so great. But in comparison to Nas, getting back to the subject at hand, he's not touching Nas. Nas has, you know, If I Ruled the World. He has You Owe Me, you know, featuring Genuine. He has, you know, a track with Mobb Deep at, you know, around that same time, around 99 or something like that. About 99 when I think when Nostradamus had released. But, you know, he did a track with Mobb Deep. That was hard. You know, you had the Firm records, you know what I'm saying, with Foxy Brown and AZ. Fire, you know what I'm saying? And he's had numerous other records over the course of his career, you know, that were like hits and stuff like that. Now, and here's another thing. When Nas dropped Illmatic, you know, let's start from the beginning. When Nas dropped Illmatic, Jim ain't got one of them, bro. That's considered like one of the goated hip hop albums of all time. Jim don't have one of those, bro. You know, who cares about like hits? You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you how watered down having a hit is, especially in the year 2025. You got so many people making hits, right? But none of this stuff is gonna really stick like that. Like these kids, they have a microwave attention span. If you told them, like, if somebody just mentioned somebody like, let's just say like Migos, right? And you know, rest in peace, Takeoff. But if somebody mentioned Migos, some fool is gonna say that they're played out and they're gonna just downplay their whole discography. That's just how this generation works. All right. So, you know what I'm saying? No matter how much hard work you done had and then put in hits after hits. Like, look what they doing to Drake. You know what I'm saying? Some people, Drake done fell off, you know what I'm saying? And there you go. You know what I'm saying? You hit today, gone tomorrow. So, you know what I'm saying? I want pretty much like, you know, everybody to kind of like look at, you know, not Jim as being like one of the guys that's just gonna get over when in the hip hop combo when it comes to, you know, just, you know, records and stuff like that. It's not gonna stick. Like you really got to do something with your music in order for it to stick. You know what I'm saying? Like Nas has those records, and outside of the hits, what really made Nas is the kind of the B-side records of what he has. You know what I'm saying? Second Childhood, and What Goes Around Comes Around. I Can was more of like a single when he did Godson. He got so many. Oh, Black Girl Lost. He got so many records, man, and I just feel that Jim doesn't have that type of catalog that's going to match up to what Nas has. So what I'm saying is that Nas is levels above, you know, Jim. He's already, you know, a goated MC, right? Some people think Jim Jones can't rap. I think he can rap, but you know what I'm saying? But when it comes to, if you're comparing, you start comparing him to other goated rappers, he's not there, man. Don't listen to the YNs. They don't even listen to lyrics, bro. So Jim Jones could say that he's part of the LGBTQ community, right? And you'll have like them kids and they probably skip right over that. They just groove into the track. It's as if they don't hear him. It's as long as it sound good, gang. You know, you know how they talk. And you be sitting up there looking at him, you be like, bro, you know what he said on record, right? You know what I'm saying? And they don't really care, bro. That's just the way that, you know, the YNs work. So, you know what I'm saying? Them kind of like egging you on is nothing. Because, you know what I'm saying, they, like I said, they got a microwave attention span, bro. It's done in 10 seconds. You know what I'm saying? And that's cool that they're listening to Jim Jones now, but let me tell you something, bro. More than half of the music that them little YNs been listening to, they not gonna listen to that stuff when they hit 40. Let me tell you something. I was listening to Nas since I was like probably 12, 13 years old, bro. You know what I'm saying? And Nas hit the scene. I was like, dang, bro, you know what I'm saying? Who's this cat? Like, what, you know, how does he know all this? You know what I'm saying? You know, he made you want to start like kind of like reading a little bit more about yourself and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And then he always had a great message. And Nas is one of those guys that kind of followed in the footsteps of like Public Enemy, KRS-One, and he's borrowed similar styles when it comes to storytelling. You know, from Slick Rick. That's why him and Slick Rick are, you know, doing records together and stuff like that. You know, like a Cool G rap. You know, Nas is Rakim for sure. Rakim. Nas is like the second coming of Rakim, you know, for my era. That's how I view him, you know what I'm saying? And he always put out, you know, great messages and stuff like that, you know. Because back then, you know, you could get some of everything. And this is why I be trying to, you know, tell the youth that, like, you know, what you guys have today is kind of like, it's not that impressive, you know what I'm saying? Because the radio is only one-sided. So when you guys turn on the radio, which most of you guys do, you know what I'm saying, you only hearing party records. Now back then when we was coming up, you heard party records, you heard conscious records, you heard gangster music, you heard ratchet records. We had some of everything right then and there. You know what I'm saying? But the conscious records were some of the most important records, because even when you're partying, you know, you have to have something that's going to bring you back down to earth. We ain't trying to hear all that propaganda gang and all that. And you just saw the video, right? You know what I'm saying? You just saw the video. And Nas was really trying to like let, you know, Jim know that, you know, you ain't on my level. So with that being said, you know what I'm saying, at the end of my portion, I'll put in, you know, Jim's portion as well. And you'll see how Jim had that same thought process, you know what I'm saying? And Jim has never been like that, he's never been that guy to me, you know what I'm saying, when it came to like, you know, goated rappers. Yeah, but you can clearly see why YNs today kind of mess with Jim, because he has the same mentality still. And it's kind of like a shame, but I still respect Jim, you know what I'm saying, especially from a music standpoint, because I think he's just improved over the years. Even though I kind of like, you know, his production a little bit better, you know, back in the Gap, you know what I mean? So, but now, you know, he's released records like El Capo, and then At the Church Steps, which just currently released. And you know what I'm saying? And that's cool and stuff like that, because that's good for today's, you know, generation. But ain't nothing, even that stuff not comparing to like King Disease and the Magic, you know, series that Nas has been releasing over the last, you know, 10 to 15 years. So I just don't see it, you know, with Jim. I just see him doing his own thing, which is cool, but he's not better than Nas in any form or fashion. Do not listen to these YNs out here. Like I said, they barely listen to lyrics, bro. Barely. And if they do listen to lyrics, it's a bunch of BS. You know what I'm saying? Just gotta call it, you know, what it is and stuff like that. These are the same cats listening to drill. These the same cats listening to, you know, tons of auto-tune with meaningless lyrics and stuff like that. And some of the, you know, the emo rap and stuff like that. Like, we ain't had no stuff like that when we were growing up, man. Come on. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody sitting out there trying to be depressed, looking for attention. You know what I'm saying? Nah. But anyways, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate you guys, like, you know, hanging out with me and stuff like that. Again, if you guys got any type of music and stuff like that, I don't care if you play an instrument, sing, rap, play the accordion for all I care. You know what I'm saying? I try to review you guys' stuff the best way that I can. I'm kind of new to all this stuff, you know what I'm saying? Be patient with me. You know, it's what happens when you be an OG and stuff like that. But, you know, appreciate you guys. Thank you, and listen to this portion of what Jim be saying, all right? Because this is why he's viewed as O-Y-N. I'm not calling them that, you know, internet calls them that. But this is kind of like what I'm seeing, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like on the tightrope of being kind of true. So appreciate you guys. And check this out.
Get ready for Behind the Grind, the exclusive interview show on globalgrind.com. On the first episode, Jim Jones talks about everything.
We were just talking a little while ago about Nas's protest of Fox News, and I wanted to know what you thought of that, because it almost feels like some artists don't always, you know, support things until their album is out.
You're speaking about somebody who's not relevant in the game, so it's nothing he can do from a street aspect point of view to make a spectacle or get people to look at him. Like, so he opts for the dweeb way to do it, and that shit is bogus. We don't want to hear that shit.
That's like the word of the day, dweeb, right?
Like, we don't want to hear that bullshit you trying to kick, man. That propaganda shit. Fuck out of here. It's 2008 and it's a recession. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about getting back to find out how we gonna make some fucking money in these fucked up times. It's dry out there. You dig? It ain't no money out there. It's a drought out there. It's bad for both sides of the fence, whether you pay taxes or you don't.
For more of this exclusive interview, log on to globalgrind.com.